As we look at the Northeast, the energy transition there is going to be policy driven and it's going to need offshore wind. And so if you couple that clean energy policy together with having fairly limited solar resource, what that leaves you is that offshore wind has to be a primary role in meeting clean energy demand. As we've seen kind of over the last year, it's been pretty bumpy for offshore wind. We've seen rising interest rates, seen inflation, supply chain challenges. I think most of these offshore wind projects are still going to be fine. They're going to get resubmitted, and some have already been resubmitted and reaccepted. Offshore wind isn't the only expensive resource when we look at decarbonization in the Northeast. We've got generally expensive land and high load around the dense populations, right? So where the people are is where the land is expensive, and where the land is expensive, it's hard to build, and it's hard to build transmission from elsewhere. Over the last year, as a function of data center demand, electrification, et cetera, we've seen very significant upward revisions coming out of the ISOs on their peak demand forecast. This is 4-hour accreditation on top, 8-hour accreditation on bottom. The main story is that it falls off pretty fast. And so by the time you get to the 2030s, we're below 50%. Within a couple years, below 25. We see solar kind of spread all over the place. We see storage really being concentrated in Massachusetts. That shouldn't be a surprise given that the Clean Peak Standard offshore wind is obviously coming in offshore.